For generations, royal marriages have fascinated the world. Love stories, royal expectations, historic traditions, public curiosity, and whenever a future queen grows older, one question naturally begins to appear. What might the future look like when it comes to relationships and marriage? For Princess Leonor, curiosity continues to grow. As Spain's future queen, her journey may someday include balancing something many people understand deeply: personal happiness and public responsibility. But how might royal tradition shape that future? And how different could life look today compared to generations before? Today, we're exploring an interesting question. Could love one day shape Princess Leonor's future within royal tradition? Because perhaps modern royal life looks very different than many people imagine. Let's explore. Royal marriage has changed over time. Royal history often followed tradition very closely. In past centuries, marriages sometimes reflected diplomacy, alliances, and family expectations. Royal roles came first. Personal preference sometimes came second. But modern royal families across Europe often look very different today. Many royal marriages now begin with personal relationships and shared values. Partnership, connection, mutual understanding. That shift has changed how many people view royal life. Because maybe one truth quietly matters. Modern royal families often balance tradition with personal choice in ways earlier generations could not. Spain's royal family may offer an interesting example. Here's something worth considering. King Felipe himself married Queen Letizia, whose background was outside traditional aristocratic circles. Before becoming queen, she worked as a journalist. Their story reflected something many people noticed. Modern royal life could look different from older expectations. Perhaps experiences like that influence how people think about the future. Because maybe one truth matters. Royal traditions often evolve alongside society. And every generation helps shape what comes next. The future may include balance. Here's something interesting to think about. For someone preparing for a constitutional role, relationships may naturally include unique considerations. Privacy, public attention, responsibility, national visibility, shared values. Perhaps one important part of any future partnership would involve understanding public life. Because maybe one truth feels universal. Strong relationships often grow through understanding, support, and shared purpose. And public roles may simply add another layer to that balance. Why people find this question so interesting? Royal stories naturally spark curiosity. Future queens, historic traditions, modern expectations, changing times. People often wonder how younger royals may shape the future differently. Because perhaps deeper questions feel relatable. How do people balance personal happiness with responsibility? How does tradition evolve? What happens when modern life meets historic expectations? Those questions feel bigger than royalty alone. They feel human. King Felipe and Queen Letizia may offer different perspectives. Here's something fascinating to consider. Perhaps Princess Leonor already sees different experiences within her own family. King Felipe grew up inside royal responsibility. Queen Letizia entered royal life later. Different paths, different experiences. Perhaps those perspectives offer valuable lessons about balancing tradition and individuality. Because maybe one truth matters deeply. Preparation often includes learning from people with different experiences. And that perspective may help shape future decisions in meaningful ways. Modern royal life looks different than before. One thing many people notice today is how much royal institutions continue to evolve. Education, military preparation, public engagement, technology, communication. Younger generations often approach tradition differently. Perhaps the future of royal life will continue balancing history with modern values. Because maybe one truth quietly matters. Institutions survive not only through tradition, but through adaptation, and every generation leaves its own mark. The importance of privacy. Here's something important to remember too. Personal relationships deserve privacy, especially for young adults growing up publicly. Curiosity naturally exists, but so does the importance of personal boundaries. Because maybe one universal truth matters. Everyone deserves room to grow personally, away from constant speculation, and perhaps that balance matters even more for public figures. Why this story feels relatable. People connect emotionally with questions like this because life often involves balancing expectations. Family expectations, career goals, personal dreams, relationships, responsibility. Those experiences exist everywhere, inside royal families, inside ordinary homes. Because maybe one truth feels familiar. Everyone hopes to build a future that feels meaningful and personal at the same time. And perhaps that makes Princess Leonor's journey feel surprisingly relatable. The human side people sometimes forget. Sometimes people focus only on titles. Princess, heir, future queen, royal tradition, but beneath all of that still exists something deeply ordinary. A young person growing, learning, preparing for the future, discovering what matters, and perhaps one truth feels impossible to ignore. No matter how extraordinary someone's role becomes, the future still unfolds one chapter at a time. So, could love one day shape Princess Leonor's future within royal tradition? Perhaps time will tell. Royal life continues to evolve. Modern expectations continue to change. And every generation shapes history differently. But maybe one truth matters most. The future often becomes most meaningful when responsibility and personal values grow together. What do you think? How do you think modern royal traditions may evolve in the future? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more royal stories, fascinating discussions, and royal updates.